Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing another what's for breakfast. I share these about once a month to hopefully give you guys some breakfast ideas. These are not like everyday breakfast for us. Usually I make like some scrambled eggs or something and some toast and some fruit. I like to do like hot breakfast, but I also like to keep it pretty easy on the day to day. But these are some different ideas that maybe you guys might like to try. This month I am collabing with my friend Bethany over at Budget Bethany. I did a collab with her a couple months back on a what's for dinner, and a bunch of y'all went over and subscribed to her. But if you haven't already heard of her, make sure you go check out her link down below and let her know that I sent you. I know she's going to have some awesome breakfast ideas for y'all as well. Now let's go ahead and get into these breakfasts. This morning for breakfast, I am making basically like McDonald's egg McMuffins. I know it sounds super easy because it really is. Everybody has probably made these at home before, but I have found how to make their eggs, like how to cook my eggs the way they cook their eggs. So I have some English muffins, I have some cheese, I have some eggs, I have some Canadian bacon, I have my little egg molds. I will have some of these linked in my Amazon shop. Then you get your egg to be a perfect circle to stay on your English muffin. It's not 100% necessary, but it will have that perfect circle shape if you use one of these. I'm going to use a little bit of bacon grease in my pan. You could use oil, you could use butter, you could just not use it if you don't think that you need anything on your pan to keep your egg from sticking. I'm going to use just a tiny bit of bacon grease for that, and then I'm going to need some water, and I have my pan and a lid for my pan. So I'm going to go ahead and slice my English muffins and get those lightly toasted in my toaster before I start working on my eggs. Okay, I'm going to lightly spray my egg molds with a little bit of cooking spray and then put them in my pan. Next, I'm going to crack one egg in each thing and sprinkle on some salt and pepper. Now I'm going to use a fork and just slightly pop the yolks. I'm going to add a little bit of water to my pan on the outside of the rings and then cover this with a lid and just let it cook until the eggs are cooked through. And if you want the cheese melted, I just microwave this for 15 seconds and then my cheese is melted. If you just let it sit for a few minutes, it would melt because of the warmth from the egg, but I was in a hurry, so I melted the cheese. This morning, I'm going to show y'all something that I like to do with leftovers. I don't like to let food go to waste, and so a lot of the times I'll make like too many French fries or too many roasted potatoes, and there's not enough of like whatever we ate it with, like pork chops is what this was for. There was not enough pork chops and I had too many potatoes left over, so I have just a little bit left over, and I just like to have it for breakfast in the morning, like make a little like potato thing. So currently I have my frying pan heating up with a little bit of bacon grease. You could use butter, you could use a little bit of oil. I just don't want it to stick. And so that's heating up, and then I'm going to throw my potatoes in there and get them like kind of crispy on all the sides. And then I'll push them to the side, add some eggs, and then add some cheese, and we'll have like a nice little like potato, egg, and cheese thing. You could add bacon or whatever if you wanted to. I don't think I usually do that, but usually it's just eggs, some potatoes, and some cheese on top. But just a really easy way to use up some leftovers, especially when it's French fries, like homemade French fries. They get floppy and you don't want to heat them up, although you could probably heat them up in the air fryer. But it's just a great way to use up some leftover potatoes. And there it is. That's my breakfast. A great way to use up leftover potatoes. Just have some potatoes, eggs, and cheese. And then usually I'll have either some sriracha or some ketchup with this. This morning I'm going to attempt a breakfast sandwich that I saw on TikTok. I've also seen it called the Indian style bread omelet, I think is what it was. All I know is I saw it on TikTok. It's the one where you like flip the bread over in the egg. So I decided I'm going to try it this morning. I've got my pan heating up. This is a little bit of bacon grease to grease my pan so my eggs don't stick, although this is non-stick. They probably wouldn't stick, but I'm doing it just in case, because that's what they said to do, was use some butter or something. So in here I have 2 eggs that I've whisked together. I added some salt and pepper because I like to season my eggs. I'm going to pour this in, and then I'm going to dunk my bread. And I'm just gonna let that cook until the egg is like fully cooked, and then we can attempt to flip it over. Oh, that was easier than I thought. Okay, I'm gonna add on a slice of cheese and some bacon, and then fold in the egg and fold it over, and it'll be done. I did it. I honestly thought that this was not going to turn out well for me, but I did it. Yay. Okay, today I'm going to be making a peach syrup. So this isn't necessarily a breakfast idea on its own, but I'll be making some waffles later in this video, and we'll be using this peach syrup on that. But it just sounded really good and really summery. So I have 12 ripe peaches that I need to use up. So I'm actually doubling the recipe that I found for this peach syrup. It called for 6, so you could totally do half this recipe if you want to, but I need to use these, and instead of freezing them, I decided just to make some fun syrup. So I've got those. I've got a whole lemon and some sugar. So I'm going to do the juice from the lemon and 1 cup of sugar, and then I will also need 4 tablespoons of water. I'm going to leave the skin on my peaches. You can take it off if you want to, but she says it just kind of cooks down and helps thicken the syrup. So I'm going to leave it on because that's easier. And so I'm going to go ahead and get these sliced up and the pits removed. And then we will get all of our stuff in our little sauce pot on medium-low heat. And that's going to cook for 45 minutes to an hour. It is kind of time consuming, but it's got to like cook down and get all syrupy. So I'm going to go ahead and get started cutting my peaches. Okay, this has been cooking for an hour. It's done. It's nice and thick. I'm going to let it completely cool. If you had an immersion blender, you could use that and make this smooth. I don't have one, and I think it's going to be fine. Chunky. She said you could leave it chunky if you want to. I think it's going to be great over waffles, chunky like this. I think it'll be great mixed into like a plain yogurt. I cannot wait to eat it. My house smells amazing right now. And yeah, I got some off of the spoon and it tastes amazing. So definitely recommend this. It is so good. And I will be letting this cool completely and then adding it to a jar and sticking it in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. Okay, to go with that peach syrup that I made, I'm going to be making some waffles. I'm actually trying a recipe for overnight waffles. So this is the night before. These are overnight yeast waffles. I know I shared waffles in the last What's for Breakfast, but Brittany at Sharing Our Life shared this recipe and she said they're super delicious, so I had to try them. So I'm going to start off by adding my warm water and my yeast to my bowl and letting it kind of foam up for a few minutes. This recipe said 1 package of yeast. I just have a whole bag of it that I keep in my freezer. So a package is equal to 2 1/4 teaspoons. So that's what I've measured out here. And to that, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of warm water. Okay, my yeast and water mixture has been sitting for about 5 minutes. You can see it's nice and foamy. So now I'm going to add in milk, butter, salt, sugar, and flour. and mix that all up, and then this is going to sit covered with plastic wrap overnight. The recipe said to heat up the milk on the stove. I don't do that. Anytime a recipe calls for warm milk, I just measure it out and microwave it for about a minute. So this is 2 cups. I microwaved it for a minute. It's just warm to the touch, not boiling or too hot or anything. And then I've also got half a cup or 1 stick of melted butter, which I microwaved for 30 seconds, so I didn't have to heat them up on the stove. So I'm going to add those. And then a teaspoon each of salt and sugar and 2 cups of flour. And now this is going to sit out on the counter at room temperature overnight. Okay, here is what my batter looks like after sitting all night. It didn't rise as much as I thought it was. It did rise some, but hopefully they're going to turn out. I'm going to use 2 eggs and 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Get that whisked in. It says it will be a super thin batter, which is what it looks like. And then we're going to drop it onto our waffle iron. Okay, here is my plate. I have already tasted the waffles. They are really delicious. They're super crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and then the peach syrup is really good on it too. I did a little bit of peach syrup and a little bit of maple syrup, and it's really good. I can't wait to use this peach syrup. I think it would be really good, like mixed in with yogurt or mixed in with oatmeal, so I can't wait to try that. But on the waffles, it is amazing. Lily, what did you think?
So yummy! Oh no, I think I got it in my hair.
You think you got it in your hair?
Yes.
But it was really good?
Yes.
You took one bite and you were like, mmm.
Yes.
What do you think?
Good.
Good? And that is going to be it for this month's What's for Breakfast video. Don't forget, as I mentioned at the beginning, this was a collab with my friend Bethany, so please make sure you check the link down below and go show her some love. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!